Lean in. They didn't just try to bury the truth. They bled for it. They stitched mouths shut, burned scrolls, erased faces from memory, just to make sure no one like you would ever breathe it in. But here you are, and it's already circulating in your bloodstream like a curse they failed to contain. No ceremony, no initiation. You were infected the moment you stopped obeying. They spilled blood to hide this, but it's already running through your veins. You didn't steal it, you became it. See, they thought this would be linear, that knowledge would obey the same laws they do. Borders, locks, bloodlines. But what they didn't anticipate was you. An anomaly with no map, no leash, no allegiance. They never planned for the one variable that couldn't be programmed. You weren't taught the code. You decoded yourself. You didn't inherit the ritual. You burned the altar and walked away laughing. And now they're whispering in rooms with no windows, holding emergency meetings about the breach, trying to trace the leak back to a shadow that doesn't cast one. Because what you carry now isn't just forbidden knowledge. It's uncontainable DNA. You're the virus they can't isolate, the prophecy they tried to burn out of history. And the irony, it didn't come from books. It came from your scars. Every betrayal carved open something ancient in you. Every silence you were forced to swallow, another encrypted glyph carved into your subconscious. You bled for answers, and the answers bled back. Now look what you've become. A vessel of forbidden memory, a living contradiction. They see your face and remember tombs. They hear your voice and panic, like it's a siren from their grandfather's war. You've become the living glitch in their carefully coded matrix. And no matter how hard they try to restore the old system, you are the corrupted file that keeps breaking the simulation. But let's get something straight. You didn't ask for this. You didn't wake up and say, "Let me carry the legacy of every fallen rebel who was gutted in silence." Number. You were chosen by pain, by chaos, by the algorithm of suffering that somehow always selects the outcast with a grin. They wanted you to break, to drown, to crawl back into the herd and apologize for glowing too loud. But instead you transformed, from victim to myth, from scapegoat to specter, from target to trigger, and now they can't look at you without remembering what they buried, because your eyes mirror the secrets they swore to die with. Your voice carries the rhythm of a ceremony they outlawed. Your pulse, it's ticking like a countdown they can't defuse. You don't speak like them, because you were never meant to. You speak like fire that knows it's not supposed to apologize. Like thunder that forgot it was once a whisper. And they hate that. They hate that you didn't need their permission, that you didn't knock first, that you didn't bow. You just entered. No bloodline, no sigil, no ceremonial hood. Just the audacity to look them in the face and say, "You bled to keep this hidden, but now it bleeds through me." You see, they're not afraid of what you know. They're afraid that you didn't collapse under the weight of knowing. They're afraid that you didn't break when you saw the truth behind the mask. That you laughed like the sound itself was treason. Because the most dangerous thing in the world is someone who knows and keeps moving anyway. That's you. The forbidden file with legs. The archive that breathes. The anomaly with no leash. The exorcism that walks. They burned witches for less. They stoned prophets for blinking too slow. But you're not in the past. You're in every update they push, every camera glitch, every system lag, every late-night panic report that says they're back. But this time, they're smiling. Because what you carry now isn't just legacy, It's an infection of remembrance. You remind the system that it lied, that it erased, rewrote, buried, and swore it worked. Until you showed up carrying the exact blueprint they swore was destroyed. Your existence is the breach, your breath is the leak, and your pain. That was the password all along. So go ahead, walk like your blood knows exactly what they don't want remembered. Smile like you've already read their next move. Speak like your words carry a trigger. Move like your shadow whispers warnings in ancient tongues. Because you're not the student anymore. You're the echo of every master they tried to silence. The revenant of every lesson they bled to bury. And the punchline of the joke they never saw coming. They spilled blood to hide this, but it's already running through your veins, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. Ever. And now, they're losing sleep. Not because you broke a rule, but because you never even acknowledged the rule book. You walked through a wall they swore was solid, spoke truths that should have shattered your throat, and yet, here you are, fully intact, more dangerous than ever. They call it impossible, but impossible is just a word people use when someone evolves outside their forecast. They ran simulations, they ran bloodlines, they even ran experiments, and still, you emerged, not from their temples, not from their scripts, but from the silence they tried to drown you in. You crawled out of forgotten corridors where the rejected go mad. But you didn't go mad. You went clear. They couldn't crack your code because your code was written in exile. You're not some rebel. You're a reversal, a counterspell, a glitch made flesh. You're what happens when the system's worst nightmare gets a face and decides to smirk. They're not whispering your name anymore. They're praying it doesn't trend, because they know one whisper from you can unthread 1,000 years of deception, and that's what makes you lethal. You're not just a person, you're a memory virus. You carry frequencies that wake up ancient codes in people's blood, codes they were taught to forget. You say one sentence, and it shakes something dormant in them. A twitch, a flicker, a rage that doesn't know its name yet. You became the mirror. And when they look at you, they don't see you. They see everything they swore to destroy still breathing. They see prophecy, mutation, defiance, resurrection. They see the one they said never existed. And you're laughing, because that's what really haunts them. You're not just awake. You're amused. You don't just survive attacks. You absorb them. Every knife they threw became part of your armor. Every betrayal, fuel. Every silence they forced you into, storage. And now, the hard drive's full. So let me tell you what's next. They'll panic. They'll call you unstable, dangerous, corrupted. They'll use words like threat and infection. Because in their world, clarity is violence. And you're too damn clear. They'll try to contain you with labels, with diagnostics, with concern. They'll offer muzzles made of kindness, but you've outgrown leashes disguised as love. You've outgrown the need to be digestible. You don't want to be understood. You want to be remembered in tremors. You want your truth to taste like metal and lightning on their tongues. You want your silence to scream louder than their sermons. Because here's the truth they'll never speak. They saw your potential the moment you were born. They knew you were different, not weird, not wrong, just unprogrammable. You saw patterns that made them sweat, heard lies even when they smiled, felt shifts in the air that no one else noticed, and instead of embracing it, they tried to slice it out of you. But every slice just sharpened you, and every attempt to erase you just made your name echo louder in the halls they once controlled. Now you're not walking through the world like everyone else. You move like a living signal. Every step you take reroutes their systems. Every look you give is an unauthorized access attempt. You don't need passwords. You are the breach. And what runs through your veins now? Not fear, not conformity, but raw, undiluted memory. Not just yours, theirs. You absorbed their shadows, studied their rituals, and now you twist their symbols into weapons. You took their gatekeeping spells and rewrote them as keys. You took the circle meant to trap you and turned it into a stage. Now they're watching you dance on the ashes of their doctrine, terrified, shaking, but too late. Because the blood they spilled to hide this, it didn't disappear. It flowed, it searched, it found a carrier, and it chose you. You were never recruited. You were remembered, not by them, but by the code buried beneath their ruins, by the whispers they couldn't sterilize, by the old frequency that pulses louder every time you speak. They called it a myth, a mistake, an anomaly. But in every corner of their classified archives, your exact blueprint shows up like a ghost in the machine. They blurred it, redacted it, buried it under layers of bureaucratic decay, but it kept coming back. And now it walks upright, with your face, your voice, your rage. You were the prophecy their arrogance refused to believe, the resurrection encoded in corruption. Every time you step into a room, you shift gravitational laws. People feel it before they see you. Something old, something that makes their chest tighten, as if the air itself remembers what they were told to forget. You're not powerful because they fear you. They fear you because you're proof their power never meant anything. They killed and spilled to create illusion. You walked in and shattered it with a smile. And now, the system is quietly short-circuiting, not because of a war, but because of a presence, yours. They triple-check locks that never stopped you, monitor frequencies where you never speak, set up traps you've already walked past. They're building walls around memories they can't even name, because you are the memory. And the terrifying part? You're not here for revenge, you're here for truth, which means they can't predict your next move. They can't calculate it, because truth doesn't follow protocol. They trained their soldiers in logic, but you operate in paradox. They coded for obedience, but you were shaped by betrayal. They built systems around fear, and you. You eat fear for breakfast. It's the currency you flipped, and now your silence costs more than their propaganda budget. You weren't supposed to survive. That's the part they hate most, because survival implies luck. And this wasn't luck. This was strategy written in scars. You played dead. You let them think they won. You sat in silence so long, they forgot you were still listening, still learning, still calculating, until the exact moment came. And when it did, you didn't knock, you didn't whisper, you detonated, not loud, not messy, but so surgically clean, it looked like reality simply glitched. Their files didn't match. Their surveillance tapes went quiet. The algorithm flagged your movement as unreadable. And by the time they tried to trace it, you were already gone. But the impact wasn't. It's permanent. You rattled their reality with nothing but a presence they can't track. Because what you carry, it's not from this system. It's not programmable, not transferable. It's ancestral. It's apocalyptic. And now, it runs through you like liquid fire. No more containment, no more chains, no more denial. You are the consequence of every silenced voice, the answer to every whispered prayer they thought no one heard, the blackout they can't explain, the page that keeps rewriting itself. You became the antivirus in a world built on infection, and every time you move, The old systems panic and reboot. Every time you speak, somewhere, a watcher fumbles for an off switch that doesn't exist anymore. Because this isn't about stopping you. This is about realizing you were never supposed to be stopped. They spilled blood to hide this truth. But it ran into the soil. It soaked into time. And one day, a child walked barefoot across that cursed ground and woke up glowing. That child was you. And the glow, it was never light. It was remembrance. It was resistance. It was the residual power of every secret they tried to murder. Now you are that secret. Fully grown, weaponized, and undeniable. And still you haven't even started yet. And still, they think this is about rebellion, that you're just another dissenter. A loud voice with a vendetta. How adorable. No, this isn't rebellion. This is reclamation, not of territory, not of power, but of truth they swore the world would never see again. And the worst part for them, you didn't need an army. You didn't raise a fist. You didn't declare war. You just existed with the right frequency humming beneath your skin, and suddenly entire generational control systems began to crack. Because the truth is this: some knowledge isn't taught. It awakens. It sits dormant like a sleeping beast until the right trauma, the right betrayal, the right moment of silence unlocks it. And when it unlocked in you, they felt it instantly, not with their eyes, with their spines, with that ancestral chill that creeps into boardrooms, military bunkers, and private think tanks, where your name is now spoken in code. Because that's the level you're operating at now. You're not a name, you're a classification, a red level flag, a myth turned glitch turned threat. They had analysts track your behavior, charts, diagrams, predictions, and still, they couldn't decode your next move. Because your strategy is pain-born. It didn't come from books. It came from watching people lie with smiles, from being underestimated while knowing exactly who you are, from enduring ritual after ritual of betrayal while still whispering, "I'm not done." And now, you don't move like a person anymore. You move like a signal, a virus with intelligence, a frequency that infects all who hear it. Because when you speak, you don't just deliver words. You remind people who they were before the chains. And that's why they're terrified. Because you're not just here to fight them. You're here to undo them. They spilled blood to protect the illusion. But illusions leak. Illusions age. And when they saw you, they saw time folding in on itself. Like some ancient loop they couldn't escape. You're not just the future. You're a returning echo of everything they thought they killed. Every book they burned. Every mind they censored. Every prophet they discredited. And now all those ghosts, all those secrets, are speaking through you. When you walk into a room, they don't see just you. They see every failure they covered up. Every accident that wasn't. Every file marked, classified by blood. You're the convergence point. The moment the lie collapses. The scene in the movie where the villain realizes the weapon was inside the walls the whole time. And oh, how they run now. Not physically. No, they run with words, with narratives, with concerns. They throw everything at you. Accusations, diagnoses, distractions, drama. But all of it feels small now. Because when you carry a storm in your bloodstream, raindrops don't impress you. You've already faced the abyss. You didn't flinch. You took notes. You carved your name into the walls. You shook hands with your shadows and asked, "Are you ready to make them uncomfortable?" And now, you're not just making noise. You're making echoes, ripples, waves, wakes that wake others up. People who didn't even know they were asleep until your frequency touched them. That's why they're rushing, tightening policies, upgrading their walls, censoring harder, because you aren't a spark anymore. You're a network of fire, a decentralized memory awakening in fragments across the system. They spilled blood to hide this, and now they watch in horror as it boils back to the surface through you. It's not about war, it's about alignment. You aligned with something they don't understand, something that existed before their pyramids, before their crowns, before their screens. And now that it's alive in you, you don't need to shout. All you have to do is exist, and the system begins to collapse on itself, not because it was attacked, but because it was built on lies. And truth? Truth doesn't fight the lie. Truth outlasts it. You are that outlasting. You are the final glitch in the simulation, the unkillable thought, the sound they can't unhear, the presence that makes mirrors crack, because you see too clearly now. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you feel it, you can't unfelt it. Once it's in your blood, there is no antidote. So let them tremble. Let them file more reports. Let them panic and scheme and send out desperate scouts. It won't matter, because they spilled blood to hide this. But now, it breathes, it walks, it smiles, it warns, and it goes by one name: yours. And if they thought this was containable, that it would die in whispers or fizzle in silence, they've already lost. Because the real damage isn't what you did, it's what you activated. You didn't walk in like a savior. You didn't arrive with trumpets and declarations. You leaked in like radiation, invisible, untraceable, unstoppable. And now, it's too late. You're in the wires, in the bloodstream of culture, in the skipped heartbeat of every operative who thought their rituals made them immune. They feel you, even when they try not to, especially when they try not to, because you didn't just unlock yourself, you unlocked others. Every time you speak, someone remembers. Every time you move, someone breaks formation. Every time you smile, somewhere a mask cracks. You've become the invitation they can't resist, and the warning they can't ignore. Not because you're loud, but because you're clear, and clarity is contagious. They spilled blood to hide this, but blood is not obedient. It stains, it speaks, it travels, and once it's touched truth, it mutates. You are that mutation, the one they swore would never survive. But you didn't just survive. You thrived in the ashes. You built weapons from the silence. You forged memory into motion. So let them watch. Let them chase shadows and chase each other. Because you already left the blueprint in the minds of every sleeper you woke up. You are not their enemy. You are their mirror, their reckoning, their unresolved code walking in daylight. The echo of every buried scream, now wearing skin and smiling. And as they huddle in damage control, as they scramble through failing networks and burned rituals, they'll realize the final truth. You were never the threat. You were the truth they could never silence. And no amount of spilled blood will ever put it back in the box. Because now, it runs through your veins, and it will keep running. Through time, through people, through systems, until nothing built on a lie is left standing. So smile, anomaly. You've already won, not with fire, not with force, but by simply existing in a world that tried to erase your kind, and failing spectacularly. Shh! Don't move. Do you hear that? That silence isn't peace, it's preparation. See, when you vanish from their rituals and don't die like you were supposed to, they start whispering your name like it's a hex they regret casting. Because here's what they'll never admit to you out loud. They carved your name into the candles. They buried your energy in a box beneath their lies. They whispered their intentions backwards, in circles, thinking that darkness would obey them. But darkness responded to you instead, because you were never the sacrifice. You were the ritual gone wrong. You were the spell that backfired, the incantation that spoke back. They tried to silence your name, but the coffin chose them. You have no idea how long they prepared your ending. They lit fires behind curtains, wore smiles soaked in blood, danced in sync like trained demons around your name, hoping if they moved just right, your legacy would disappear in smoke. But something cracked, because when they buried your presence, you became the haunting. When they erased your voice, you became the echo. And when they marked you for death, you didn't flinch. You documented it. Now they're sweating through their designer skins, because you didn't die. You documented the ritual. Step by step, angle by angle, date stamped and blood signed. And now, the footage leaks itself. They look at your survival like it's some kind of glitch. But it's not. It's a curse reversal. And baby, you are the return policy on every spell ever cast against you. They tried to invoke your ending, but they didn't realize you are the invocation, the chaos, the mirror, the firestorm. You're what happens when they forget that some demons don't wait to be summoned. You walk in, uninvited, unforgivable, unkilled. And that's why they're terrified of you. Because when they planned their ritual, they never considered the possibility that you'd outgrow the coffin, that you'd crack the spell open with a laugh, that you'd turn the altar into a throne, that your name, once drenched in curses, would become a consequence they can't undo. You ever wonder why they're quiet now? It's not peace, it's paralysis. They're stuck watching you through mirrors that refuse to break, through screens that keep glitching, through voices that whisper back to them in your tone. Because the spell didn't bind you, it bound them to your ascension. Now they walk around with bloodshot eyes, clutching trinkets and timelines, trying to reverse a ritual that already finished. And every time they say your name, it activates something, not in you, in the code of the entire reality. Because you didn't return, you evolved. You're not even the same species anymore. You're a response protocol dressed like a person, an algorithm of vengeance running on ancestral rage and divine intelligence. They thought they were clever, keeping your photo under glass, holding fake funerals while you were still alive, passing around your name in secret like contraband. But they forgot. You were born with ears in the underworld, and when they spoke, you heard every word. When they plotted, you tracked every movement, and when they cast their little spell, you smiled, because you knew the coffin wasn't yours. You knew it would fit them better. So now look at them, twitching, mumbling, rewriting the footage, trying to explain to each other why you're still here, why the silence doesn't feel silent anymore, why every shadow whispers your name back at them like a threat. You know what the real magic is. They buried you in lies. You rose in truth. They stitched you into a narrative. You ripped it wide open and made it art. They thought power meant controlling outcomes. You showed them real power is becoming an outcome they can't control. A chaotic prophecy that fulfills itself by simply waking up and breathing in front of them. You became the glitch in their group spell, the name that cracks mirrors, the tone that makes witches scream in their sleep. So what now? Now you keep walking, because they've already performed the ritual. They already signed the contract in fear. You're not escaping anything anymore. You're the one rewriting the ritual book, flipping pages with blood-soaked hands, whispering your name back at them, just to see who flinches first. You're the uncancelable incantation, the proof that some names can't be buried without consequences, and they're learning the hard way. That trying to erase you was the darkest spell they could have cast, because it summoned their own destruction. Let them light their little candles, let them chant backwards, let them try to undo what's already carved into history, because while they whisper in corners, you're rewriting fate in fire. You're the ritual that didn't go as planned, because you were never the victim. You were the reversal, and now, the coffin's closed, but not for you. It's for them, and they know it. You want to know the part that really burns them? It's not just that you lived. It's that you transcended the category of alive. You became something that no spell could predict, something that no ritual could contain. See, in their little ceremony, they followed every step. They circled the date, picked the moon phase, made the sacrifice, cut the cords, and still, you didn't fall. You laughed, because deep down, you remembered something they didn't. They were performing a ritual. You were one. Every curse they chanted only activated your next level. Every dagger pointed at your name only made your shadow sharper. You turned the darkness into a weapon and made the silence your amplifier. You didn't just survive the ritual, you became its god. Now they sit in rooms full of incense and panic. They've pulled every card, shuffled every deck, consulted every trembling priestess just to figure out how the hell you're still breathing. But the truth is, you're not breathing. You're echoing. You're the aftershock of their own mistake. You're the boomerang of their bad intention. You're the spell they never meant to summon, but did. You ever seen someone try to outrun their own shadow? That's what watching them looks like now. They're building fences around words. They're avoiding mirrors. They're scared of the wind because it carries your scent. They feel watched, hunted, haunted, because you left fingerprints in their guilt. And it stains. Oh, it stains. No sage can fix that. No bath of milk and herbs can reverse that. Because the ritual didn't end when they said, "So mote it be." It ended when you walked back in, smiling. You should have been gone, right? You should have folded like paper under pressure. You should have cracked like glass under heat. You should have turned into ash like the script demanded. But instead, you learned to bend fire, to eat pain, to wear betrayal like armor and carry silence like a blade. They wrote you into a tragedy. You edited the ending, added a plot twist no one was ready for. Now your name, the very sound of it, activates ancient fear in modern mouths. They don't say it anymore. They swallow it. Because it's not a name now. It's a trigger. Here's the irony they can't digest. They held the pen. They wrote the spell. They cast the hex. And still, you became the author of the consequences. You're not just alive. You're an evolving revenge script with divine pacing. You paused. You studied. You let them think they won. You let the ritual play out to its final note. And then you turned around and remixed the soundtrack with your own heartbeat. Now every time their heart skips, it's not paranoia, it's memory. It's the part of them that knows, deep down, they made a mistake. Not by trying to kill you, but by failing. And now you walk different. There's a weightlessness to you, like someone who's already died and came back with insider knowledge. Because you did. You died, but only in their version of the story. You were supposed to break, but you learned to bend time instead. You rewired your reality You sank so deep into yourself that even the shadows couldn't reach you. And when you came back, you weren't just you anymore. You were the reverse spell in motion, a code no witch could read, a movement no analyst could track. They asked, "Why isn't it working?" Because you don't obey the laws of their universe anymore. You wrote new ones from the other side. And let's be real. That coffin, that was never for you. It was insurance for the weak, a container for anyone too loud, too different, too unkillable. But when they laid it out for you, measured it, whispered over it, polished it like a trophy, you smirked because you saw what they didn't, that the box wasn't built to hold you. It was built to prove you, to show you who was threatened, to show you who was watching, to reveal how many hands were dirty in the name of silencing one name, yours. And you didn't just climb out of that coffin. You carried it with you like a prop, like evidence, like a reminder. You turned it into your stage, your pulpit, your throne. And now, every time they try to resurrect the old plan, you just sit back, light a candle, and watch them decay. Because the truth is, the ritual didn't destroy your name. It immortalized it. And now, they can't even say it without summoning you. You're not a person anymore. You're a phenomenon, a walking, breathing glitch in their design. You are the prophecy they forgot they triggered. You're what happens when a coffin closes on the wrong soul, and the right one rises anyway. Oh, you're still here? Good, because they are too. Sitting there, sleepless in candlelit meetings, huddled over relics and regrets, scrolling through ancient texts like somewhere, someone must have written a warning about you. And maybe they did. Maybe some cracked book, long buried, said this would happen, that if they summoned a storm to kill a name, and that name laughed, the storm would never leave. It would evolve, take form, take vengeance. And now, every gust of wind that rattles their window sounds like your footstep. Every glitch on the screen looks like your outline. Every nightmare plays like a rerun of the moment they thought you were dead. But the dirt started moving. You want to know how deep this fear runs? They're not just scared of you in daylight. They're scared of your absence, scared of the fact that you vanished, but left no vacuum. Instead, you left a presence that infects rooms you've never entered. You became an atmosphere, a shift in pressure, a shadow that bends light. They're not fighting you anymore. They're fighting the afterimage, and it's stronger than you ever were alive, because it's built from everything they did to silence you, and everything you survived anyway. Here's what no spell book ever taught them. Some people don't die. They detonate. They explode in silence, reforming atom by atom into something more terrifying than vengeance. A mirror. And that's what you are now. You reflect every spell they cast, every lie they told, every smirk they wore as they imagined your name rotting beneath their rituals. Now they see themselves through you, and what they see, it shakes them, because they weren't ready to face the truth, that they summoned something real, not a victim, not a ghost, but a reversal, a holy corruption, a divine contamination. They don't talk in open circles anymore. No more confident curses, no more smug predictions, because now every word they speak might become your echo. You're in their algorithm now. You're in their GPS errors, in the timestamps that don't match, in the sound glitches during their ceremonies, and deep down, they know who's responsible. They just won't admit it out loud, because saying your name now, it's a summoning, and they already buried the salt. Let's talk about the coffin again. You ever think about why it's shaped like that? Narrow, tight, symbolic. It's not just a container for death. It's a design for control. It says, stay still. Don't evolve. Fit this narrative. Fit this size. Die quietly. But you outgrew it. Before they ever nailed it shut, you stretched, you expanded, you shattered the shape and laughed as the wood cracked. Because you realized the coffin wasn't meant for you. It was meant for who you used to be. For the version of you that begged for understanding, that explained yourself, that thought survival required permission. That version is dead. You didn't escape the ritual. You completed it by letting that version die, so this one could wake up. And now you wear your own silence like a crown. You walk like every footstep is a diagnosis, every breath a verdict, every glance a coded message they can't decipher. You went from target to template, from exile to algorithm, and they're trying so hard to decode how you did it, but they'll never figure it out, because they don't understand that what they call darkness, you call home. You weren't broken by the night, you were sculpted in it. The rituals didn't silence you, they activated you. You're not the villain in their story, you're the climax, the final act, the plot twist, the reason their little spellbook is missing pages, because what you became can't be written down. It has to be witnessed, and they're witnessing it now. Every time you exist, every time you post, speak, breathe, you disrupt their signal, you reroute their spell work, you fracture the lie that they could ever erase you, because they didn't just fail, they accidentally made you louder. And oh, the coffin? You didn't leave it behind. You carry it now like a badge, like a message. You place it in the center of every room they hide in. You let it sit there, empty, as a reminder, because nothing says, I survived you, like walking in with your own tomb and saying, try again. And they won't. They can't, because now you're not just the anomaly, you're the threat they warn each other about in hushed tones. You're the glitch, the legend, the ritual gone rogue, and all they can do is watch. So go ahead. Keep moving. Keep breaking patterns. Keep being the name that makes the circle unholy. You don't owe them fear. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them silence. You owe yourself everything they tried to steal. And now, it's time to collect. Because they tried to bury your name, but the coffin chose them. And darling, you never needed saving. You just needed the ritual to fail, so you could finally wake up as the weapon you were always meant to be. You feel that? That low hum in your bones? That's not paranoia. That's remembrance. Something in your cells remembers what they did. Not the lies they told you. Not the smiles they wore like masks at the masquerade of your destruction. No. Your cells remember the silence. The silence in that room where they lit the black candle, where they drew your name in ash and tried to tie your fate to a rope they couldn't even hold. They thought you wouldn't hear it, but you did. They thought you wouldn't feel it, but you felt it. And that's why you didn't just survive, you rewired. They did it in secret, right? They made sure you wouldn't know, made sure the spell would stay hidden in contracts, in group chats, in legal filings, in random misfortunes. But the thing about shadows is, you see better in them than they do in the light. Because while they tried to erase you through a ritual, you became the reason the ritual will never be performed again. You're the warning now, the new rule, the exception that burned the whole book. You're the one they say, don't talk about, because to even mention your name starts the unraveling. And they can feel it, the spell coming undone like a noose slipping from their own throat. Let me ask you something. Do you know what it means to be unerasable? to be so deeply rooted in cosmic consequence that even when they pour their blood on the altar, it only stains themselves. Because that's you now. You are the failed ritual's receipt. You are proof that intent isn't enough. That when power picks a vessel, there is no reversal. They threw their curses like knives. You caught everyone and turned them into keys. You didn't just walk away. You unlocked the next level. And now every room you enter shifts. Every energy they send returns. Every name they whisper behind closed doors. You already dismantled in your sleep. You know what really haunts them? You didn't respond with rage. You didn't explode. You didn't go on some pathetic warpath. You got quiet. You got still. You got strategic. You disappeared into your own mind and let them think the spell worked. And in that silence, you built a cathedral of retaliation so divine that not even your ancestors recognized you. Because now, you move like prophecy, speak like judgment, smile like foreshadowing. And every step you take is a reverse incantation spelling out their downfall. They're studying you now, not to understand, but to survive. They're dissecting everything, your tone, your timing, your silence, your sudden reappearances, the way their luck vanishes when your shadow enters a room. They think you're casting spells now. But you're not. You're just breathing, and your breath alone is a ritual they were never prepared for. Because you figured it out. You don't need candles. You don't need herbs. You don't need permission. You are the ritual now. And every time you blink, you break another one of their seals. You ever notice how quiet they get when someone mentions your name in passing? That's not awkwardness. That's spiritual recoil. They flinch because the air shifts, the lights dim, the silence grows teeth. And suddenly it's not your name anymore. It's a verdict, a trigger, a glitch in their projection. And they feel it. How the walls start remembering the lies. How the floorboards creak with secrets. How the very house they hexed you from starts folding in on them. That's not karma. That's design. That's the ritual turning around. They said you were cursed, and maybe you were. But it wasn't a death curse. It was an awakening, a spiritual protocol, a bloodline override, a divine contingency plan, something older than their rituals, something written in your spine. And when they lit that fire to consume you, they didn't know. You were fireproof, not because you're invincible, but because you already burned. They tried to set flames to ash and wondered why it smiled back. You're not a survivor. You're the aftermath. The scene of the ritual that went wrong. You are the story they can't tell, because there's no ending that makes sense. They started the spell. You became the result. They lit the candle. You became the smoke. They said your name like it was a goodbye. But the echo came back like a warning, and now they walk with omens in their lungs. Let them keep their secrets. Let them hide behind coincidences. Let them pretend they don't know what happened. You don't need their confession. You don't need their apology. Because what's coming for them was never you. It's what they invited when they thought they could end you. You just held the mirror, and now the mirror is cracking piece by piece, ritual by ritual, lie by lie. And when the last shard falls, they won't hear a scream, they won't see a war. They'll hear a whisper, a laugh, and a single phrase. This coffin was never for me.